Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
Now, there are many people that are celebrating the newly released Netflix 4-part series called Self-Made, inspired by the life of Madam C.J. Walker. But there are many, especially people that live in St. Louis, that aren't fans of the film at all. But before we get into that, I want to shout out my sponsor, Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve is the #1 adult toy superstore servicing all of your needs. This superstore is more than adult toys, with lingerie, massage oils, bedroom games, and even hemp products, enough to enjoy with your partner or even on your own. And you know Chronicles is not going to send you over there without making sure you're completely covered. When you go to adamandeve.com, use my discount code SPEAKS and you'll receive an entire 50% off of one item and free shipping on your entire order in the US and Canada. Some exclusions may apply. adamandeve.com and tell them your girl Chronicle sent you. Now, while the movie seems like it was inspired by Madam C.J. Walker, I feel like a bit more of the inspiration came down to, let's give the people some drama. And that's exactly what they did. Now, I'm not going to put down the movie from an entertainment standpoint. The movie was definitely entertaining, but had it not been inspired by the Madam C.J. Walker story, I think the movie would have been perfect. However, these are real people's lives, and it seems like a lot of people took this movie for face value and really felt like they were learning their history, and that's not at all what was happening. Now, without giving away the entire movie, I want to touch on the fact that the movie made her rival, Addie Monroe, real name Annie Malone, into a true villain, and the people of St. Louis are not having it. She was a hometown hero in St. Louis. The movie portrayed Annie as a fair-skinned woman who looked down upon Sarah Breedlove, later known as Madam C.J. Walker, for her complexion and her hair, when they pretty much had the same complexion and the same type of hair. Therefore, see, honey. Now, many of us were told growing up that Madam C.J. Walker was the very first African-American female millionaire, a businesswoman who amassed a fortune with her hair grooming empire for black women. However, very few people know that Malone was actually the very first African-American female millionaire, not Madam C.J. Walker. Now, if you listen to this movie, you would have believed that Malone was some type of stalker that was trying to find out what was in Madam C.J. Walker's formula, picked up everything to follow her to another state, which was not true. Why? Because she had her own coins, businesses, was a philanthropist herself, and sis was self-made. She didn't need that. Yet they seem to perpetuate the dark-skinned, light-skinned narrative between the two of these ladies as if the lighter was better than the darker. However, these women were the same complexion. Their issue had nothing to do about complexion. Their issue had something to do about business.
Man, listen, I was excited to explore the complexities of the Netflix series about black female entrepreneur Madam C.J. Walker. This self-made millionaire embodies the manifestation of what happens when you invest in black women. She guarantees returns always. Imagine my disgust when her former employer, black business boss Annie Malone, was portrayed as an Addie Monroe and lightwashed, not whitewashed, but lightwashed as a condescending, self-hating, bitter business woman. Annie Malone wasn't even light-skinned. Annie Malone was dark-skinned. She had the same textured hair as Madam C.J. had. She was self-taught and naturally gifted chemist. She built a business with her aunt in her kitchen. How many products did you see Addie Monroe make? None. So when you disrespect this black woman's legacy, Annie Malone's legacy, with a fictionalized, sensationalized rivalry between two black women and see colorism as a motivating factor, classism too, when both started off poor, you have to ask yourself, what is the goal? To tell the truth or to create division? Annie is dead. But when she was alive, she gave Madam C.J. Walker a job, not as a washerwoman, but as a saleswoman. And Madam Sarah Breedlove C.J. Walker sold Annie's products in 2 cities, seeding her with the skills that she needed to later build her own empire. Both can coexist in a narrative and there still be enough texture. Both women beat down racism, beat down sexism, beat down low capital, and still gave back to their communities, established a foundation for network marketing, built schools, and became millionaires. Annie was first. Madam was second, but both women did business at the same time because there was enough market for both. There's a problem when we think there can only be one. Both women were millionaires because the black dollar is rich enough to supply more than one entrepreneur at a time. There was only one documented disagreement, but nothing as prolonged as what the Netflix series documents. Don't let history be rewritten to disrespect black women entrepreneurs. We can learn so much from Madam CJ's walk as a black woman entrepreneur during her time and even now, but we can also learn from Annie. Let's respect her life and allow her to rest in peace in her death.
Now, another part of the movie that had everybody talking is Tiffany Haddish. Now, shout out to whoever her manager is, because sis gets roles, but Tiffany is always casted as who? Tiffany Haddish. This movie was based in the early 1900s, but I swear they went to the future and got Tiffany and they brought her back. Tiffany Haddish played the part of Madam C.J. Walker's daughter, Lilia, who later changed her name to Lilia. She got married, but her marriage ended up failing and she ended up chasing around a fictional character by the name of Esther, and they carried on this relationship together, which according to Madam C.J. Walker's great-great-granddaughter was not true. Now, there were whispers that she could have been with a woman after her third marriage, but again, these were all whispers, but it seems like they added this part to the story to sensationalize this for Hollywood. Honestly, if you do your research, there was enough going on in these ladies' lives that you really did not have to make up anything. Their story is compelling enough. Now, this movie to me just tainted so many legacies. The last big question that I had was, did Madam C.J. Walker steal the formula from Annie Malone, aka Addie Monroe, as she confessed to in the movie? And the answer is no. Now, although she had a slightly tweaked version of the formula which combined petroleum jelly and sulfur, this is a recipe that had been used for approximately 100 years before they were even using it. Now, Annie Malone was the first to patent the hot comb. However, Madam C.J. Walker improved upon the comb by whitening the teeth for use on black hair. So this may be another discrepancy and the reason why a lot of people thought that the two were battling back and forth, but I can guarantee you it was nothing like what was happening in the movie. I just hate the fact that the only way the writers felt they could show us as a culture is by over-dramatizing the story, sensationalizing the light versus darker skin narrative. Not that it wasn't happening around that time or even happening now, but it's just that these two ladies weren't going through that. And I can understand why the people in St. Louis were so upset by the way Annie Malone was portrayed in this series. She has done so much for the community. Annie Malone was a generous entrepreneur who started the Poro Company, owned a whole city block in Chicago, trained over 75,000 women entrepreneurs, gave diamond rings for every 5 years of service, gave $25,000 to help build St. Louis Colored YWCA, gave $10,000 to help build an orphanage in St. Louis. She's done it all in her time, and the community in St. Louis are still having a parade for her that they started over 100 years ago. So they were very upset by the way she was portrayed. Before trying to sully these women's names or their legacies, it's best to put some respect on their names. They both were respected in their communities and did a lot for the culture. What I need you to do is leave a comment. Tell me if you've watched the movie, and if you have, tell me what you think about it. If you haven't watched it, tell me if you plan on watching it. Leave a comment, and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Now, before I end this video, I want to tell you about a company called Ash Kicking. Now, you know your girl Chronicles would not promote a company without doing one of those thorough Chronicle Speaks investigations, honey, and Ash Kicking definitely passed the test. Y'all make sure to check out ashkicking.com for one of the best 100% natural home fragrance and beauty products, honey, and use my code Chronicles at checkout for an extra 15% off just for you. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new episodes.